Sometimes the question is not, what genre do I want? It is, how do I want to feel? Welcome to Story Worlds from J.L. Collins Publishing, the podcast where every book opens a door. I'm Lori Collins. Today, we are choosing our next read by mood, not only by genre. Before we begin, a quick note about how this show is made. This episode was produced with AI-assisted tools, including an authorized digital version of my voice. The ideas, direction, and final approval come from J.L. Collins Publishing. Most of us have had this experience. You own books you genuinely want to read, but none of them feels right tonight. The problem may not be the books. It may be the question you are asking. Genre tells us something useful about a story's ingredients. Mystery promises questions. Romance centers a developing relationship. Fantasy invites us beyond ordinary rules. Suspense creates danger and uncertainty. But genre does not always tell us what the reading experience will feel like. Two mysteries can produce completely different evenings. One may be cozy, witty, and reassuring. Another may be dark, relentless, and impossible to read before bed. So a reader can want a mystery, but still choose the wrong mystery for the moment? Exactly. A good book at the wrong time can feel like the wrong book. Let's begin with comfort. A comfort read does not have to be simple, cheerful, or free of conflict. Comfort often comes from trust. You trust the story's voice, you trust the emotional shape. You may trust that justice will matter, love will be taken seriously, or the people you care about will find their way through. Sometimes comfort means rereading a familiar favorite. Sometimes it means choosing a new story with a setting, tone, or relationship pattern that feels welcoming. If your day has demanded too many decisions, you may not want a book that asks you to decode every sentence. You may want clear stakes, people worth rooting for, and a world you can enter without fighting the door. And comfort does not mean nothing surprising can happen. Not at all. It means the surprise arrives inside an experience you are willing to trust. On another night, comfort may be the last thing you want. You want tension. You want short chapters, gathering clues, narrowing choices, and the promise that one more page will change what you think you know. When you choose for tension, ask how intense you want the experience to be. Do you want a puzzle that keeps your mind busy? A suspense story that tightens gradually? Or a darker ride that leaves you checking the lock? Mood matching becomes more useful when it is specific. I want suspense is a start. I want suspense without cruelty, or I want something genuinely unsettling is a better guide. Perhaps you want wonder. Wonder is the feeling that the world is larger, stranger, or more possible than it seemed a moment ago. Fantasy can provide it, but so can historical fiction, a sweeping adventure, an unusual setting, or a character seeing ordinary life with extraordinary attention. If you feel stuck in routine, choose a book that changes your scale. Go somewhere distant, enter a hidden society. Follow a person whose life asks questions yours does not usually ask. You are not escaping because reality has no value. You are giving imagination enough room to return with a different view. Sometimes you need laughter. A funny book can be warm, sharp, romantic, absurd, or quietly observant. Humor changes the distance between us and a problem. It lets us recognize something true without being crushed by it. When choosing by this mood, ask what kind of laughter you want. Gentle amusement, fast banter, social chaos, a narrator with a wonderfully dry view of the world. Humor is personal. The more clearly you can name the kind that works for you, the more useful every recommendation becomes. Maybe what you want is connection. That may lead you to romance, but it can also lead to friendship, family, community, reconciliation, or a story about someone learning to belong. Ask whether you want the anticipation of two people moving closer, the satisfaction of a team learning to trust, or the ache of a family trying to repair what has been broken. The emotional relationship you want may matter more than the label on the spine. What if the reader does not know what mood they are in? Then begin with what you do not want. Maybe you do not want grief tonight. You do not want a complicated world. You do not want romance to be the central question. You do not want to wait 100 pages for the story to move. Excluding a few experiences is not being difficult. It is listening to your current capacity. Here is a 3-question method for choosing your next read. First, what feeling do I want more of? Comfort, tension, wonder, laughter, connection, or something else? Second, how much attention and emotional energy do I have? Do I want something immersive and complex, or something I can enter easily in short stretches? Third, what do I want to avoid right now? One honest boundary can eliminate half the shelf and make the right book visible. Then, read the description again through those answers. Do not ask only, does this sound good? Ask, does this sound good for me tonight? At J.L. Collins Publishing, our books travel through romance, mystery, suspense, fantasy, the supernatural, humor, and stories with heart. Those categories help readers find the right shelf, but mood helps them find the right moment. A romance can be comforting or devastating. A fantasy can be playful or dark. A mystery can feel like a fireside puzzle or a race through danger. A supernatural story can create wonder, dread, longing, or all three. The label gives you the doorway. Mood tells you whether you want to walk through it today. And if a book is not working, you are allowed to pause. Timing is part of reading. Returning later is not failure. It may be the difference between pushing through a book and truly meeting it. So here is your question for the week. What do you want your next story to give you? Name the feeling before you search the shelf. You may discover that the book you need is not in the genre you expected. Next time, we'll explore how setting becomes more than scenery, how a house, town, landscape, or hidden world can shape every choice a character makes. Follow Story Worlds from J.L. Collins Publishing on Spotify and subscribe on YouTube. You can also visit jlcollinspublishing.com to discover books, authors, and your next world to enter. Every book opens a door. Which feeling will guide you through? Until next time, happy reading.